and welcome to the Focus on Real Estate Live Talk Show, where we provide valuable knowledge and information on buying, selling, renting, and leasing all types of properties. This show hosts different guests who are experts to share their knowledge and experience on issues relating real estate industry. We also look at what the government and other institutions are doing to help solve many problems in the real estate industry. Problems like climate change, county planning, and environmental protection. In today's third episode, we are going to be looking at how to buy properties in Sierra Leone. As it is evident that buying properties is one of the most challenging decisions to make, since it takes greater portion of one's savings. Unfortunately, many people have lost their entire savings while attempting to buy properties, but ended up dealing with the wrong entities or parties. Ironically, even the most experienced legal professional or real estate brokers can fall for this trick. To prevent such to prevent such problems from happening, we have with us a renowned real estate consultant with over 7 years of experience in the real estate industry. He is also the head of operations at Global Salon Property and Investment Company Limited. His name is Mr. Ismail Umar Sheku Kebe. Mr. Kebe, hello and welcome to the show.
Yes, hello, Khadija. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me today.
You're welcome, Sam. Mr. Kebe, as I mentioned earlier, our topic for today is centered around how to buy a property in Sierra Leone. As you know, a lot of people have what it takes, to make certain investments in the real estate industry, but they lack the knowledge on how to acquire one. In that light, we would love for you to explain to us what are some of the steps to consider before buying a property in Sierra Leone.
Okay, thank you very much, Khadija. Good afternoon, listeners. From wherever you are listening or watching this program from. Um, Buying a property in Freetown or Sierra Leone is not a big deal, or it's not like any tedious activity. It's all about in terms of investment right. So when you have your purpose why you want to invest in properties, whether you want to invest in a residential house back home, or you want to invest in a commercial where you expect rental income, or you want to invest in certain kind of entertainment or recreational center. So you need to have your purpose right. So because of this is fundamental to what you would the process that involve in terms of buying, and it also leads to the kind of step that you would take in terms of necessary steps you will go through in terms of buying. So because there are times, because of the purpose you want to invest in, there is only leasehold properties that are available, or private properties that you have to deal with private individuals. And at the same time, because of your purpose of investment, if it's industrial, meaning you need a large scale of properties, meaning you need about 2, 3, 4 acres and above. So that's also would have determined the kind of entity you would work with. So having your purpose right is one of the first, the foremost step. Then from there, you would also want to consider in which location you want to buy this property. That would actually come from your purpose. If you want to invest in residential, then that would also determine the locations as we discussed in our previous program. Then if you want to invest in recreational or resort or any kind of entertainment or tourism site, so that's also determine the kind of process and the location you would actually want to put this investment. Then again, if you want to invest in commercial property, that will also lead you to the kind of location you would want to choose for your commercial activities. And next, your investment readiness in terms of cash availability. So all these boil down to your purpose. So your purpose in terms of investment and your location will actually determine the kind of project you would prepare for. So if you want to invest in commercial property, then definitely you would have to prepare a certain considerable or reasonable sum, or you want to invest in residential in outskirts of some part of outskirts of the western area, then that's okay. Then, but you want to invest in terms of residential or commercial mixed use property, that also would have to determine your budget. Or you want to purely invest in entertainment, then that would also determine the budget you would prepare. So these three things are the foremost step you would want to prepare. First, you want to invest in your purpose, why you want to invest, and then secondly, your location, thirdly, the budget. So these are the three foremost steps you need to prepare while before you think of going to the ground for this investment.
Okay, Mr. Kebe, thank you very much. I think that was explained in details, purpose, the location, and the investment readiness. So, Mr. Kebe, I am made to understand that Global Salon puts together an article that guides those who want to invest in a property. And you guys tagged this particular article as the 3S model, right?
Yes.
Okay, so can you please explain to us vividly what these models are about?
Yes. So when you want to invest in real estate in the western area of Sierra Leone, there are steps involved in terms of confirming when we are to invest and how to invest. But aside from that, or more importantly, it's about whether the investment, the property you want to invest in is genuine, you are dealing with the right people, or you have a complete documentation. So these three is very important because we refer them as a due diligence process, or confirming verifying the authenticity of the document, verifying the credibility of the individual you are dealing with. Thirdly,
Hello, hello, Mr. Kebe. Kindly check your mic. I can't get you. Yes, please check. Hello, hello. We can't hear you, sir. Hello, Mr. Kebe. Kindly check your Bluetooth.
hello, can you hear me now?
So, hello, Mr. Kebe. Okay, so basically, according to Mr. Kebe earlier, when you talk about the steps to consider in buying or before you buy a property in Sierra Leone, firstly, he said that we're gonna look at the purpose. Basically, what are your intentions? What's the type of property that you want? That's basically what he tagged as the purpose. Your purpose of investing. You need to look at that, and also after the purpose, you have to look at the location because hello, Stakibe, are you with us, sir? Hello. I think you've muted your mic. Kindly check it out. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, after you've considered the purpose of investing, why you want to invest, or in what type of property you want to invest in. That's the purpose basically. After that, you have to go next to location. Basically, this location is where you want to buy. You assessing, okay, for example, as he stated earlier, he said we have residential, commercial, and industrial, and also luxurious. So let's say in a situation wherein I want to invest in a residential property, I would have to first of all consider where will be suitable for me to buy that particular property, right? So before ever thinking about the location, you need to have a purpose. That purpose that you have will determine the type of location or how to go about it. And also the investment readiness. We all know that before you even have this purpose or even thinking about the location where to invest, you need to have investment readiness. Like you need to have what it takes to invest. Hello, Mr. Kebe. Kindly unmute your mic. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Hmm? So
Hello. Okay, we apologize for that. Welcome back. Hello, Mr. Kebe.
you don't remove me. Oh.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back.
Yes. Hello, Khadija. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Viewers, we apologize for that. Welcome back, Mr. So I was asking about the 3S model that Global Salon puts together in an article. So can you please explain to us vividly what are some of what are these 3S models? What are they about?
Yes. So this 3S model, when you, it's all about the kind of processes that are involved in in property transactions. You know, there are three key processes that involve in terms of verifying whether the property you are dealing with is actually free of any kind of erroneous act or is conflict free. So for you to determine any kind of encumbrances, so you would have to verify the document, the title deed of the property. Second, you would have to confirm the locations where the property is. So physically, you go to the property and confirm what is on the document is actually what is on the ground. So if there is any question regarding discrepancies between the document and that of the land, then you would want to ask some few questions and why it's so. Then thirdly, you would want to do verify the people that you are dealing with, whether they are first bona fide owner of the property, and second, they have the right to go into transaction to transact with you. So this 3S model actually serve as a guide, as a due diligence protocol for anyone who want to buy property within the western area of Sierra Leone, Freetown, and the peninsula. So this 3S model guides buyers who actually want to buy a conflict-free property. First, in terms of document verifications, we want to know whether the document is properly surveyed. So we'll have to verify the survey plan and see whether it is recorded. Then, if that is clear, then we'll move to the conveyance sector. We'll go to Roxy, where deeds of conveyances are registered. So we want to verify whether the volume and page number on this document is actually correct. So we would want to perform a due diligence in terms of checking within the system the page and the volume number. So from those informations reveals in terms of the true photocopy of the document. So you will confirm that this document is actually duly registered, duly properly surveyed and duly registered. So these three steps within the documentation verifications actually give you comfort in terms of recording. So that does not complete the due diligence process. Second, you will have to visit the property, go to the land or the property, inspect the property. During the property, you also want to compare what is surveyed in the document and what is on the ground. Maybe sometime you will have some within the Western rural, somebody would present 2, 3, 4, 5 acres of land on the document. Maybe there's only two piece or one plot available. So you want to ask what's happened to the rest of the document, the land. Did you sell it? If he was not the one that, or he or she does not sell the land, so who sold the land at the end of the day? So we want to ask if there is a boundary differences, what is on the document, say 200 meters from the road down. So if that is not, it's above 200 or below 200, you also want to ask those questions. Then within the physical inspection of the property, you also want to ask the neighboring property owners that whether what is stated, because normally the survey plan actually indicates the neighboring property owners. So you want that this property belong to one Mr. Sise. So you want to verify whether actually Mr. Sise is on the adjacent property. Then so you confirm within all the boundaries where appropriate. So then again, there are also headmen, other local heads within the western area, rural. Yes, so why the property has so and so differences in terms of documentations. Then, if there is no difference, discrepancy in terms of what we have been given on the paper and what is on the land, then you know your document is actually you're dealing with the right people in terms of document, and the document is as on the paper. The land is as on the paper. So these steps are very much important, but they are not final. Thirdly, we want to verify whether these people that presented the document claim ownership of the property. They are actually the bona fide owner. So you want to confirm the name on the document as to the person you are dealing with. At the same time, then you want to ask who actually has right to actually transact with this property. Then if it's a family, a group of families that actually own the property, you want to ask the decision makers within those families. Then perform background check on them. Some family has reputation notorious for double selling land, notorious for land grabbing. So once you have actually performed a background check on those families, then you are comfort that these are people you're comfortable dealing with. Then investigation on the people you are dealing with also at times even lawyers or real estate companies that claim to be selling a property, they do not have right to sell those property. Then at the same time, even individual, they might have it's a real property. They have some right to the property, but they do not have the absolute right to sell the property. So you also want to ask those questions. So performing background check on every individual you are dealing with, that complete the 3S model process of Global Salon. And what we've done, we have developed this into a questions where you actually go online, perform your due diligence check. There are questions that you need to fill. So once you actually fill respond to all those questions, you have a mark from 1% to 100%. So the closer you are to 100%, that's how the level of confidence you have in this property. Maybe if your due diligence charge actually below 45%, then you need to ask more questions. You need to do more verifications in terms of buying a property for you to be sure your confidence level into that investment.
Okay, I believe this was detailed explained, but if you wish to know more about the 3S model from Global Salon, kindly check out this article so you can be guided 100%. Okay, so Mr. Kebe, can you please tell us roughly what the cost of a property is in the west or east part of Sierra Leone, roughly?
Yeah, yes. The cost of property, like from the beginning, we said your locations or your intention, your purpose of investment, you actually determine the cost of the land you want to go in. Standard comparative value, where you can compare property value within certain locations to that of other locations, because the prices are not standard. Yes, everyone sells based on the demand or based on the customers he's dealing with. So normally with that, you comparing data using previous sales data as an advice for another as a broker advice to our client, because you have two properties within the same location. One is sold for a certain price, and the other one is selling way below or above that price. So you start asking, why is this transactions are actually far different apart? So this tells us in terms of how the market is actually polarized, because you cannot use a previous data to determine the next data. So having said that, there is a guide. Those previous sales valued, they serve as a guide, only a guide for intended investors or buyers or sellers, because you cannot use them to price your property. Then, more importantly, because of how the property market is actually saturated, so it's difficult to determine a price based on what the other property costs. Geographic nature of Freetown as well. So it's possible that two property within the same radius could have different topographical shape that actually give the other one edge in terms of value, because of the topography is going to have some kind of hilly, or there is a rock on the property. Even though you are actually sharing boundary, that property can actually outmatch in terms of pricing. So when you look at these significant element in terms of pricing, so it will be very difficult to compare them within the Western area, just in a program like this. It involves a lot of data before coming up with a certain price for the different.
Okay, so if I understand you well, you're saying that in terms of pricing a property, the location also determines the price, and also the value of the property determines the price, right?
Yes, the value of, like rightly said, yeah, the value is the condition of the sales. Yes, actually also determine the price of the property.
Okay, in that light, Mr. Kibe, what are some of the Sierra Leone real estate market trends and opportunities?
All right. There are a lot of opportunities in investing in Sierra Leone. These opportunities ranges across commercial investor, real estate investor. You invest in offices, the residential. You invest in recreational activity like hotel, entertainment, or you are an industrial investor. You build warehouses or factories. So there are a lot of opportunities, and the market actually is gradually developed in terms of office spaces. Then, because we've experienced over the years, most of the office spaces in Freetown is somehow residential building converted to office spaces. So there are only few properties within the market that actually serve the that grade A purpose office space. So it has a huge investment in those area. Then what another sector that's growing is the industrial aspect. Before now,
there were, let me say, low demand for warehouses. And because of the increase in terms of commercial activity, import activity, and also production is also kicking up. So all these are giving rise to warehousing, because we see the volume of import in terms of foodstuff is increasing. Then we've seen a growth in terms of paint manufacturing, building material, paint, nails, cement. All these are actually building up the demand in terms of warehousing. Then thirdly, the other sector that has been doing amazing well since 2014 during Ebola is the hotel industry. They have been doing extremely well because before 2016, you see the within the Lumley Beach end. So there are only few hotels or house, some kind of building within those locations. Among those, there are a few hotels that were popular, but now you can count a very incredible hotel that are coming up, and the market has been not very good, but experiencing some stability. There is an opportunity there as well. So another neglected sector is the affordable housing. So because of the because of what we've noticed in terms of the growing middle sector, middle income sector within the population, that has increased demand for a more affordable housings, not just slum area within a slum area. So if you notice, the the demand for service land is increased, is hugely increasing, and that has actually translated to the price, the skyrocketing of price in various locations within the western area that extend up to Uni, chiefdom, that's Mashaka end. So because of this growth in the middle income sector, that has seen a huge demand for land in those areas. And that actually tells us that the middle income, those that can afford uh, three, four, 5,000 leons, 5,000, 5 million leons per month as a monthly income are increasing. So there's also a huge demand in the affordable housing sector that's actually translated into a very mortgage or fairly payment mechanisms, supported by fairly payment mechanism. There's also a huge opportunities in those areas. So in terms of real estate, all the sectors are booming. They are growing. They are showing seeming signs of growth. So it's only need investment in infrastructure. Yeah, government infrastructure is what's lacking behind. Maybe because of the slow response by the government, that has actually crippled the sector's growth. I believe if there's the available infrastructures program, sincerely, the real estate industry would have been something else in the next 5 years.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe this is well explained, and it will serve as a guide for those who want to. I believe this will help them to know in which particular sector to invest, right? So, Mr. Kebe, can you please tell us how can one recognize a reliable real estate partner in Sierra Leone, considering the dubious activity that has been going on over the years in terms of real estate?
All right. Thank you. This is an interesting question because this was one of the first articles I wrote in the real estate sector. That was 2016. I realized that having spent like 2 years plus or 3 years within the industry, I noticed want to differentiate the difference between a true real estate, incredible in real estate company from that of just a normal real estate. So Second, I also realized the difference between professional real estate agent and that of just a street peddlers real estate agents who woke up just one day and now because of the circumstances he find himself as a real estate agent. So asking money from wrong information, promising you locations and location that does not exist. So it was very difficult. So I first have to study the market, try to screen myself as well as those that I'm dealing with. What kind of quality is should be embedded in a professional real estate agent or agency. So I realized that two things that come in play is integrity as well as professionalism. So in terms of professionalism, it's about how much a real estate agent or agency knows about the issues, the process that I've just explained in terms of safeguarding the investment of their client is one. Secondly, how much does it know the market? How much the individual know about the market in order to advise the client or the prospect or in terms of their intentions in investing in real estate. Then the professionalism also has to do with how much do you keep to your words in terms of what you said you're going to do for the client. Then it has to do with professionalisms. Then this appointment, your time in terms of feedback, your time in terms of forward back, these are all very important. Yes, feed forward. So if you cannot keep your words, you are not you are not knowledgeable of what is happening within the industry. At the same times, you don't have like your customer. You cannot keep. You are not qualified to do what you said you are doing. Then you are not professional. Second, I also talk about integrity. Integrity is about doing the right thing. So many real estate agents took advantage of their clients just because of they are naive, they are the first time, because of they are in a hurry, or they are in a situation they just have to own a property or they just want to relocate to some other location. So these are the three things you need to focus on in terms of integrity. One, if a real estate agent does not have timing in terms of how he set up an appointment, for example, if he said we are meeting, I'm going to give you feedback in 2 days' time, or the property, the details of the property that you gave is very scanty. He does not have much information about the owner or the property. Then he doesn't have integrity because he's telling lies. Second, how much is he involved in terms of negotiation? Is this real estate agent actually seek the interest of both parties? Does it create a room for conflict of interest negotiation? Because sometimes what they would do, discuss with the property owner, discuss with the client, and see how much he can generate, he can earn from both sides, skyrocketing the prices at the same time, inflating like withholding information in terms of uh, the client for the client to negotiate. So if you notice this from the real estate agent, you know exactly this cannot be trusted. It doesn't have integrity. And integrity finally would have to do about respect. Yeah, giving respect, giving information for the client to decide whether he wants to go in or not. They have this issue of like registration. You register for you to see properties, and you are given three properties, and after three properties, he's done with you. Then you have to register again. Then secondly, what he will do, he would actually list long the list he would prepare, having discussed with you what you want. The list he will prepare at the end of the day is not like compared to what you requested. So they took the chance of just like submitting a list so that you were eager to for viewing. So at the end of the day, what you saw at the end of the day is somehow despicable. So you don't, you just, these are very important. So if you cannot compare the integrity and professionalism of a real estate, you cannot keep up to your integrity or professionalism, then that's one way you can disqualify a real estate agent. how much integrity does he or she has, then how professional in terms of dealing with you.
Okay, Mr. Kebe, thank you very much. Quickly, there's a comment from Mr. Ibrahim Kamara. Can you please throw some light on this question? What he said? He said, the taxes are too high in Sierra Leone. What's your take on that, Mr. Kebe?
Yeah, when buying a property, normally taxes has to do with the property in two areas. One, those that are actually selling, they have to pay tax, what we refer to capital gain tax on if on the property. And this capital gain tax actually has to come from the seller. One of the reasons why Mr. Kamara, is it Ibrahim Kamara, is saying the property, the taxes are too high, residential real estate investor. When we buy a property, those that sell have to pay capital gain tax to the government, and that actually is 20% is on the the taxable gain you receive at the end of the day. So taxable gains actually have to be computed. It's not just like outright 10% what they normally charge in Sierra Leone. They have to be computed. At the end of the day, it's only 25% is only on the taxable gain. Then when you are registering your property, you have to pay stamp duty. That stamp duty is barely very small, very small. It means it's like a one tar lot for you have to pay like 250,000 loans for one tar lot or so. It's very small. It's not up to that, in fact. So the taxes in terms of construction is indirect taxes. So you cannot actually relate these taxes to the cost of the property. But the cost of the investment, yes, the taxes in terms of indirect taxes, they are very high because they are set up across industries, not only in real estate. So, in terms of buying a real estate, these are the only two taxes that you pay. First, you have to pay the owner who's actually selling the property have to pay capital gain tax, and though if you are buying, you would have to register. You have to pay for taxes when you are actually registering the conveyance. At the same time, even the survey plan also you have to pay some amount to NRA when registering the survey plans at Ministry of Lands.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kebe. I think there's another question for Mr. Ibrahim Kamara. He's saying there are no mechanisms put in place for an organized real estate industry. Can you please shed light on that?
Is indeed not regulated in the first place. Like where we have the insurance brokerage, the insurance is industries is being regularized from an insurance act. Then whether we have the bar associations, actually the lawyers are in ICASL, they are also regulated. Even the marine industry, they also have in term regulations. Then Sale of Goods Act also have regulation, but in real estate there is no kind of regulations in terms of agency, in terms of transactions within the real estate industry. So the real estate sector is indeed not regulated. There is no mechanism put in place at the moment. Yes, there is no mechanism put in place in terms of regularizing, checking through how much we can verify professional and non-professional integrity, or that no integrity real estate brokers or agents. Yes. So you, the individual, at the moment buying a property, you would have to do your due diligence in terms of who you deal with. Uh, then at the same time, you also want to be careful in terms of how you make payment, to whom you make payment, and when and how you make payment. So it's very important to be cautious when you invest in real estate at the moment.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kebe, for that wonderful um, explanation. And thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim Kamara, for sharing your thoughts. Finally, Mr. Kebe, what's your advice for people who want to invest in the real estate industry? What advice will you give them?
Yeah, my first advice to those who plan to invest in real estate in Sierra Leone is that they do it with time. Things like what Ibrahim is saying would actually make sense at the end of the day because there are regulations coming up. I believe the Ministry of Lands, the FIU, and even the Sierra Leone real estate professional are also like coming together. They are galvanizing support for them to actually set a regulations for the industry players. So my first advice is to whatever investment you want to invest in, whether it's a residential, whether it's industrial, it is an entertainment, or whether it is a kind of commercial investment that you want to do, I advise you do it now. See, because those properties that you aiming at, over the years, the price will double or triple. Maybe it will reduce your options at the end of the day. Secondly, if you actually have made up your mind to invest now, you should be very careful in terms of your choice of location, your choice of the purpose of your investment, what kind of investment you want to go into, between industrial investor. You want to invest in warehouses, you want to invest in affordable housing, you want to invest in commercial structure, office space, retail space. So you have to be very cautious and make sure it's something you really want to do, and you understand the in-depth, the in total of what you're going into. Then thirdly is your budget, because at the moment there is no financing system within the real estate industry that are favorable. Mortgages are very high, then the salaries are very low for most civil servants. Then the construction cost is going up every day. So it's you need to be very be careful in terms of the project you go that you want to invest in the real estate. So these are my advices. First, you should, whatever decision, you should do it now. Secondly, be cautious of whatever decision you want to take. Make sure you have you have yourself covered in terms of professional and legal advice. At the same time, you lastly you'll be very your selections in terms of your location, at the same time in terms of the purpose of your investment, actually has to do with your budget, align with your budget, because at the end of the day there is no financial a suitable financing option that is good for an investor at the moment, because all the rates are very high. Mortgages are very high, lending rates are very high. They're all above 20%. I mean, the least mortgage I'm aware of is 23%. That's very high for a mortgage. So your budget should actually be aligned with your purpose and the location you want to invest in.
Okay, that's a wonderful one. Thank you very much, Mr. Kebe, for making it a point of duty to be here with us today. To have you in our subsequent editions.
All right. Thank you very much, Khadija.
So
It was my pleasure being here.
thank you too, sir. This is how we have successfully come to the end of today's episode. If you have questions, comments, and recommendations, kindly share them with us. We are going to be addressing them in our subsequent episodes. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, especially on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell for you to never miss an update. Have been your amazing host, Khadija Tubai.